I love that everyone is trying to cram in short books at the end of the year. And I'm like, no, I'm about to read the highest page count of any book. I think this really tells you where I was in life. Reading it and watching Donnie Darko. Where's my birth certificate, Mom? Oh, you don't have one. Well, honey, it's not that big a deal. I mean, my cleaning lady's an alien and she does a great job. Hello, friends. I didn't envision starting this vlog with such terrible lighting or in my car, but here we are. This is what's happening. It is currently 9 days before Christmas, and I will be rereading all of my childhood favorite books, specifically from 6th grade this week over like the winter holidays. First things first, before we get into books at all, I'm feeling very unfestive and my house has not been decorated at all, which isn't really that abnormal for my family. When I was growing up, so this is appropriate of a conversation because back in 6th grade and pretty much every other year, we would always put up our Christmas tree on my mom's birthday, which is December 21st, and take it down on my dad's birthday, which is December 27th. So Christmas in our house was only 6 days. Like, it wasn't this month-long or season-long thing. So to me, it's totally normal that the Christmas tree is not up, but I think since Liam has been born, we have done Christmas a lot earlier.
Did you just fall out of the vehicle?
Are you okay?
Oh wow, you have a lot of stuff.
We're also going to buy all of Liam's snowboard stuff today. And the book I'm gonna start when I get home that I'll talk to you more about later is Replica. Now you're up to date. What's happening? And I'll talk
So what grade
to
is
you
this
later.
for you?
6th.
6th. What year is that?
2001. What were you up to in 2001?
My parents just bought their house.
Aw. Right. Break it in, you know?
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Okay, let's Christmasify. Let's talk about me in 6th grade. You can see behind me some of my selections. First, let's talk about the things that I found in my memory box from this year. I think there's only one photo, and my whole idea with this video was to kind of do my hair the way that I did in 6th and 7th grade when I desperately wanted it curly but had no idea how to accomplish it. Listen, we didn't grow up with YouTube tutorials, us 90s kids. So we had to exist like this. It's interesting how my hair color is so similar. This was a box dye. I had convinced my mother to let me dye my hair red. My hair's naturally blonde. I don't think blonde hair has ever suited me, so I've been dyeing it since the year before this one. This hair is due to braids that I didn't braid to the very ends, but almost to the ends. I look really similar. Like, my bangs are still like awkwardly parted and straight, and then the rest of it is curly. Yikes. Let me take off my glasses. It was either 6th or 7th grade that I got glasses. They called me Chucky. Anyway, some things that I have from 6th grade. I have this, which is like the name thing you put on the front of your desk. And this just very well describes me. Like, this is how much effort I was unnecessarily putting into my name tag in 6th grade. Laminated. I also have this from 6th grade, which there was a boy in our class and came back and gave everybody these little koalas, and I still kept mine even though him and I hated each other and it was just an obligatory gift, but I still have it. It is a, oh god, sorry, a pencil thing. also started making me use this little foam thing to put on your pencil to make you hold your pen right, because you may have noticed I hold my pen, I think this is how you're supposed to hold a pen, I don't know, I hold my pen like, hold on, how do I hold the pen? I hold a pen like this. And they've always tried to correct me, but I've always had the neatest writing in my class, so like, who cares? And it clearly never did any detrimental damage to like my hand, so again, who cares? But yeah, those things did not work. Didn't make me change the way I write. The only problem is people on the internet make fun of me for how I hold a pen. And the last thing I have left from 6th grade is actually really cool. And it's this. This is a dolphin that I carved out of, I don't know, some kind of stone. It came in these blocks, and we spent like a couple days with different types of like carving utensils, and we cut out these things. Mine is all, after all these years, it's pretty scuffed up, but the shape is still here. But yeah, I've always kept this as one of the crafts we did in elementary school. This was the first year I had a man as a teacher. It was also the first year I was in a portable. I did a little tour of my school in a previous video, so I'll show that here, like what the portables looked like. I've shared an anecdote in some type of video about how everyone was reading Harry Potter at this age and how I didn't. And is this inside out? This is inside out? This whole time you didn't tell me? Anyway, in class, I'm gonna get to reading, I swear. I have 2 memories from this class. One is the day we had to do some type of survival activity. There was like, every desk was like an island, and we were in a group, and we got certain, like we had to choose between like shelter or food or water or whatever tools we needed or food we needed, and we had to like work together as a team. I remember that, and I remember being put into a team of people who hated me, which is a running theme in my elementary school years. As I told you, in 5th grade, I only had one friend. She continued to be my friend, bless her heart. In 6th grade, shout out to Dee, we love her. If she ever like wasn't there, I had nothing to do. I would hide. People hated me, I hated everyone. It wasn't a good time. But also this year, 2 new girls started, and we became a little friendship group, even though I was not a good friend. I think I don't regret a lot of things in life because blah, blah, blah. I think everything helps you grow and whatever. My biggest regret is not knowing how to be a good friend. Because like I had been, as much as like you can be screwed over as a friend in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade, I was bullied so much, and I'm sure even in a completely non-power role in my school, bullied other people. And so when I made those 2 new friends, I screwed up those friendships completely. I think not until 7th grade. I have a picture of all of us together that I don't want to share their faces because I'm not friends with them now. I could have been, maybe if I was a better person. Anyway, my other memory is, for some reason, we were like, you know how you do popcorn reading and like everyone has to read different things? For some reason we had a chapter of Harry Potter. I guess it makes sense, like the teacher wanted to give us something we'd be interested in, and we were popcorn reading, and I was given the part of Hermione. Every time she had dialogue, I would have to talk, and I pronounced her name as Hermione, and everybody in the class laughed at me, and it was very upsetting. And that's it. Those are my memories from 6th grade. Not a lot going on, but I did read. You know what I read? Stephen King. Yikes. Oh, I have read it, I want to say 3 times in my life. I read it, I used to say I read it when I was 8, and then I had a very vivid memory, and I'm rethinking my entire life, and I was definitely 10. So I read it when I was 10, and then I know I read it in high school at some point, and then I'm pretty sure either I was pregnant or had just had Liam, and I read it again. So it's been at least 9 years since I've read this. I love that everyone is trying to cram in short books at the end of the year to meet like their reading goal or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm about to read the highest page count of any book this entire year. This is 1,100 pages, but I have over a week. So I'm thinking maybe I will read 100 pages of this every day just to get through it and remember things. I really wanted to reread this before I saw It, the new adaptation, part 1, and I didn't. And then I decided I was going to read it before It, part 2, or chapter 2, or whatever it is. As soon as I'm done this, I will watch that. My husband is waiting on me. So I'll be reading It, which is about a clown, but not really. It's actually just like a monster entity, group of friends. I know that this book has to be problematic, seeing as when it came out and who it's written by, but I just want to re-experience it. Next up, I already showed you a glimpse, but this is Replica. I really hope somebody recognizes this because this was my favorite thing for a while, but I really don't remember much. All I know is this is so quintessential late 90s, this outfit. Like, I'm sure I looked at her and I was like, I want to look like that. So this is a book series. I read up to book, I want to say 4. I believe this is only 99 cents. The first one is called Amy No. 7, and I don't want to read the synopsis because I really don't remember anything except I do remember one scene. It might be the opening scene in the book where she's like in her kitchen or in her living room or somewhere looking out the window and she sees something, or she sees herself. I think she just sees like something standing on the road staring at her, and by the time she like goes to get her mom or goes outside or looks out again, they're gone. That's all I remember. I know there's something to do with the moon. I think she has a moon, I was gonna say tattoo, that doesn't make sense, a birthmark, and there are replicas. She's a replica. I remember desperately loving this, but I don't remember too much of the plot. So this is really exciting and I'm gonna start here. Next, I have been buying all of the Gordon Corman because I want to reread them, and also I think they'd be nice to pass along to Liam. I don't know if there's more series than this, but he basically has a series about teens climbing Everest. He has a series of kids. Oh, I have 2 of the same one. Great. Kids deserted on an island. Kids, teens, I don't know. And then this one called Dive, which I don't think I read, but we'll give it a go at some point. I am going back and forth between these 2, but I have to go with Everest. Now, I don't know if I'm going to want to complete the entire trilogy this week, but I'm at least going to read the first book, The Contest, but I'm sure because it ends with the summit, like I'm gonna want to complete it. And I don't remember what this is much at all except teens trying to be like the youngest person to summit Everest. This is the year that I fell in love with climbing stories. I think Everest in general. It was my first time this year. I was still in Girl Guides, so we traveled some places sometimes, and one of our trips was to Vancouver, and we went to the IMAX. This was my first IMAX movie where it's like all over your head and all around you. And I don't remember what the movie was, but it was climbing Everest. I don't remember if it was a documentary or, yeah, it must have been a documentary. I'll pop it up here so you know what I'm talking about. Maybe I should rewatch that. I remember some girls had to leave the theater because they had gotten sick, like nauseous. That's what IMAX did to our 10-year-old brains. And I just loved the idea of Everest. I'll never climb Everest. I have no interest in climbing Everest. I like a casual hike sometimes, but for some reason it's just this thing that I still to this day adore. So very excited about this. So we've got Everest, we've got It, we've got Replica, and why not, let's read an Animorphs. There's definitely a theme here that my reading taste is changing. And 6th grade was very much where my weird, slight sci-fi, slight fantasy interest really began. I was right. It's the very first chapter. She looks out her bedroom window and there's a man across the street holding a camera. Oh my god. Today, something pretty exciting came in the mail. It's not book related at all or related to my childhood, so, you know, skip ahead if you want. But I got one of Robbie's Christmas presents. How can I relate this to this video? Well, Christmas is coming up. When I was a kid in 6th grade and every other year, I got one present every year. Sometimes it was something bigger. I can't think of any examples, but I know like my brother got like a PlayStation one year. And sometimes it would just be like an outfit. I remember specifically this one outfit that was from Superstore. And it was like what I asked for Christmas. But it was like a pair of black like velvet pants and a shirt that was like the New York skyline on it. It was really silky. I think maybe it was pajamas, but I wore it as normal clothes. But what I got for Robbie, if you are deep into YouTube culture, you will understand the relevance of these. But I got Keith's hot sauce. This is from the Heatonist. The Try Guys, BuzzFeed. If you know, you know. And then I got the Los Calientes hot sauce from Hot Ones. Liam's back there somewhere in the dark. I can't see you. We're headed to daycare, school, and work. Robbie spent an hour this morning shoveling the driveway. It's a lot out here, but it seems to be melting. This is the first time I've had to drive the Renegade in the snow, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. And today is my last day at work before, I'm not taking off 9 days, but I'm not going into the office for 9 days. So that's very exciting. Are you excited about your last day of school? Yeah. I can't see you. Yeah. I haven't finished Replica, but I do plan to today. So yeah. I'll see you after work. Oh my gosh, I'm home. It was a day at work. And then I went Christmas shopping. This is for my mom's birthday tomorrow. I always get her poinsettia, and Canadian Tire had these giant ones. I did this thing finally. You can see them, all those bottles of beer and ale and stout. I've always wanted to do like either an advent calendar or just like as a whole gift for Robbie, like 12 different like craft beers to try. So I found this really cool thing. I'll show you later inside. Let's go inside and talk about books. So I'm gonna try and wrap, that's the snowplow, wrap everything before everybody gets home. And I don't even know if there's an audiobook for this. I doubt it. I think maybe I'll grab the audiobook of it, just so I have something to listen to for the next hour. But Replica I could get through in like an hour if I actually tried. So I'm definitely gonna do that this evening. And nothing has happened that I don't remember yet. It's still like fun and weird, so that's good. Although I think naturally when books are old, I think I've talked about this in all of my childhood favorites. This came out in 1998, and definitely in this time period and every time period before it, there are unfortunately going to be like, I guess depending on the age of the book, like even slurs or just like offensive language, dated things. So that's always an unfortunate thing when I'm reading. This one, for some reason, 90s books specifically really have this focus on Indians. And every single book I've read in all of these childhood favorites at some point reference Indians. They say something about Indian headdresses or an Indian person, and it's all just annoying. I can show you the things that I grabbed. I had to get this around, well, I mean, in most of my life, I make a point to be as oh my god, my hair, as sustainable as I can, environmentally friendly. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but like I use my own produce bags, I use my own grocery bags, I use my own, like, I don't use saran wrap. You know, when Liam was a baby, I used cloth diapers and did all that kind of stuff. So it's really easy at Christmas time to end up with a ton of packaging. So I try to balance that. If I am buying something with packaging, like I'll also purposely buy some like reusable present boxes. I have recycled wrapping paper rather than buying a whole bunch of plastic and paper and throwing it away. So I got this little bag. I should have gotten more, but I have a lot of recycled wrapping paper. And then obviously I buy gifts like the thing for Robbie, which is really heavy, by the way. This is something I will actively use like as decor in my house. These are all recyclable, so this is all good. But then I buy the little like tchotchke. This is a puck that's also a bottle opener. I think this is so perfect for Robbie's stocking. I think this year we're just getting, oh well, I guess I got this thing, but in general we're just gonna do like stockings with like little things. And then this one I actually got for my dad. It's a skull and it's like an ice cube, and you just put the whole thing in the freezer and then put it in your drink. What else did I get? For my mom I got a sweet top from Sweet Legs. Our bags are recyclable if you care. We're looking at a compostable one, but the thing about like biodegradable packaging is like finding the balance between, is it going to biodegrade if it sits on the shelf for 2 years? So there's like a lot of testing that goes into that. Anyway, book for my mom. I got my grandma this book with tea in it. Today was supposed to be a filming day, but it was so snowy this morning, and now it's crazy foggy, and the world's making it very difficult for me to film because I don't film with lights, just natural light, which usually isn't a problem because I live high up, my windows are large, but today it's a challenge, and I was trying to film like at least 2, hopefully 3 things today, but whatever. It was my mom's birthday, so we dropped off the poinsettias. Liam had a little hockey game, and we were gonna go up. Oh, I just remembered what we're doing this evening. We were gonna go up to the ski hill, but then we changed it to tomorrow because the roads are really bad. And tonight we're actually gonna go to the Winter Classic. Our small town has a hockey game at this time every year, and some of our friends are in it. So we're gonna go to that and find someone to watch Liam, and then probably go to the pub after, because that's just what everyone does after the Winter Classic. So I want to get a little bit of reading done now, but I did finish Replica yesterday. It's pretty much everything that I remember, and I had no problems with it. I guess I just forgot how like little happens in each book, because really the synopsis and the cover and title like gives away what the book is. It's about a teenage girl finding out, or not a teenage girl, she's 12, finding out that she's, you know, Amy number 7. Clearly you can come to the conclusion that she's a clone, but that doesn't happen until like the last page of the book. So the whole book, like, you know what's gonna happen, I guess, but do you, or do you just if like you're an adult? If when I read this, was I surprised she was a clone? I don't really know, but I just feel like you're waiting for something to happen and nothing really does. But it's the first book in like a 10-book series, so how much can really happen in here? Books were so different at this time. Like, middle grade nowadays is long. At least the middle grade that Liam's picking up, it's 300 pages. It's hardcover. Like, books like this aren't really what kids are picking up that I've seen, but maybe this is a couple years older than Liam would be reading anyway, so maybe I just like don't know what kids are reading these days. It's just interesting that this didn't like do much. It was like a prologue, a really long prologue. The writing was fine. It's pretty much everything that I remember. I don't really have any thoughts, which is kind of a bummer. I won't be continuing in this series. This was pretty difficult to obtain as it was, and I don't really feel that invested in continuing. But I'm sure the series was great. I think in future books she meets other Amy's, but in this one it's just her mom every page being like, no, don't go there, don't do that, because she knows that someone's like trying to find her because like the replicas are all supposed to have died, but her mom like stole her from the explosion. So the whole book is like, where's my birth certificate, Mom? Oh, you don't have one. Who was my doctor? Where was I born, Mom? Oh, I don't remember. Moving on. I think I'm gonna start Everest. Actually, I started it and I'm not ready to share my feelings yet. So maybe I'll read 100 pages of it before we go out, and I'll leave Everest for tomorrow on the hill while Liam's doing snowboard lessons. That's the plan. All right, last night was super fun. We're now headed up to the ski hill. It's quite early in the morning. I brought my book, Everest, and Liam's gonna have his first snowboard lesson today. Everybody excited?
So excited.
Okay.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
We're currently stalking our child. He's in the gondola ahead of us.
And the fire is slowly dying. And my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you
So I finished Everest. It was pretty much everything that I remember. This was definitely my first competition type book, so it's interesting to think like, what did I think was going to be the results of this book? Like, there's a main character, where about there, oh god, who's narrating, and I feel like it's pretty clear that like the narrator of the book is going to make it into like the top 4 in the competition. Basically the book starts out with like 10 kids and only 4 are gonna get to actually climb Everest, and we're clearly following one kid. It's like when you're reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and you know that Charlie is obviously gonna win a golden ticket. So I think it takes some talent, even though we're talking about like children's books here, not relying on the surprise element of what characters are gonna win the competition. There has to be some other really strong elements. And I thought this was good. It was still like a surprise who the other kids were gonna be that we're gonna get to climb. I enjoyed it enough that I'm gonna finish the trilogy. But I think I'm actually gonna take a couple days off and maybe read Animorphs next. But I don't know if you're supposed to read Animorphs in order. Like, I don't remember anything about the book series. I know I read quite a few books in the series, but I don't really remember if the stories are independent or if there's like one narrative that's going through the entire series. Happy Christmas Eve. Today we're gonna read Animorphs. So I should find out what it's about. It says, "We can't tell you who you are or where you live. It's too risky, and we've got to be careful, really careful, so we don't trust anyone, because if they find us, well, we just won't let them find us. The thing you should know is that everyone is in really big trouble. Yeah, even you." I remember there being an Animorphs TV show, but I don't think I've seen it. I just picked this one because I recognized it. I know for a fact I've read it. I don't know if it was my favorite. I have no idea. But it says, Rachel is falling apart, literally. Her newest morph has the ability to regenerate its limbs. But when Rachel demorphs, there's a lot more Rachel than when she started out. One more Rachel to be exact. Rachel is an okay person to have around, but 2 could be considered overkill, especially 2 Rachels with completely opposite personalities. One is pathetically weak, one is super strong and super nasty. This is exactly what my hair would look like. So other notable things about 2001, obviously 9/11 happened this year. Being in Canada, it didn't directly affect me or anybody that I knew, but I remember the day so well. I think everyone kind of remembers where they were on 9/11. We were outside the portables waiting to go into class, and everyone was just like talking about what they watched on the news that morning. And those of us who don't watch the news before school were just very confused and like didn't believe what people were saying. And then when we got into class, there was like an announcement over the speaker. I don't really know, just like informing us and telling us if like anybody needed to talk or have some like counseling time, like to come to the office. And that's pretty much all I remember from that day. When I was getting my hair braided by my mom, I would sit in front of the TV and I would watch whatever. I don't think at this time we had cable yet, but I probably would be watching, you know, blockbuster movies. And I remember being really annoyed when I had to turn, because like it'd be facing this way and I could see the TV and she'd be doing my hair, but then to do the other side I'd have to turn around and then I couldn't watch my movie anymore and I'd be very upset. So I can't really think of what would be on TV at this time. Probably the similar things I talked about in my 5th grade, but I know all the movies that came out in like 2001, 2002. We had Save the Last Dance, which turned into what I refer to as my favorite movie for quite a few years. This is the year Donnie Darko came out. Jeepers Creepers. I think this really tells you like where I was in life. Reading it and watching Donnie Darko, like that really formed a lot of my future preferences. I also really loved this movie called 3,000 Miles to Graceland. It's like something to do with Elvis. I really can't remember like what the plot is or who's in it, but I know that I remember that title so well and like watching it multiple times. What else? I think this is the year Josie and the Pussycats came out, but I don't think I would have watched it because I can recall not renting it, but buying it in one of those like $5 VHS bins at Blockbuster. And then I cut my hair like Josie a couple years later. So look out for that video. I'm not gonna cut my hair again, but we're gonna look at pictures. It's horrifying. Other movies, Sugar and Spice, which to this day I think is just a cinematic masterpiece. Oh, Valentine. It's like this horror movie that's just ridiculous. I loved that and watched that on repeat. This is the look. I did this to my hair more often than not. This is how I wore my hair to school, to events, to school dances. I think this was my first school dance this year. I remember what I wore. It was a 2-piece from Superstore. It was like I don't have any photos, but it was like a spaghetti strap, short, silvery blue like velvet dress, and then there was a little like overcoat. I'll find something similar and put it here, though I can bet that I didn't look like this girl because I was awkwardly shamed. It's freaking me out how similar I look to this picture right now. Something fun about this year, I actually remember this exact shirt because I had to buy it from the women's section as opposed to the kids section at Value Village. That's where we shopped. I got all my clothes thrifted. And I remember the year that I was too big for the kids section. None of my friends were, just me. And going to the women's section and having like no more fun clothes to pick out. And I just had to pick out like boring things. Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh.
All right, oh, you're pretty. I'll be right back with.
Thanks.
Just looking at yourself in the camera, not even filming.
Not waiting
just,
for you to go somewhere else.
I mean, we're trying to leave. There's nowhere else to go, babe.
My hair is back. Actually, I feel really
You're really
cute.
pretty.
Okay, thank you. I feel cute right now and the lighting is so good and I wish I had time to film a video, to be perfectly honest.
But it's Christmas!
It's Christmas Eve. Liam somehow swindled his father into letting him go to a friend's house on Christmas Eve, so now I need to go track him down. Animorphs is weird. Did I tell you I'm reading Animorphs?
I love Animorphs.
It's strange. I don't know when I'm gonna get to continue because we're headed for Christmas. I have found, these aren't very Christmassy, they're more winter, but my most wintry sweet legs.
All I remember about Animorphs is how bad the kids turning to animals on the TV show was.
Yes, you didn't read the books.
I own 2 books that I read, and I read a few of them. I read the one with the purple front, and there's kid turns into a peregrine falcon. That was my favorite book I remember.
Okay.
In the bag, Liam. Pretty. All the wrapping paper in the bag.
No way.
No way.
This is
Way.
What is that?
no way. What?
You're waiting for us to move. What's not gonna happen?
Good on deal.
I like that they lit up their for sale sign. And this is how fancy I am. I just take a Sharpie and I write Liam's name on his presents. For some reason, Christmas is the one holiday or day or just... What am I trying to say?
It's the one thing in your life or time in your life that you don't give a fuck about organizing.
Oh my
That's what you're trying to say. It's easy to say, okay?
That is what I'm trying to say. It's so funny because I can make a stack. Let's see. Here are 2 sets of presents for Liam. There's this set. Check out the wrapping. And then there's this set. Check out the wrapping. And I feel like if I said to you, guess who wrapped what between Robbie and I, you would assume this was me. Nice, clean edges. And this was Robbie because, like, traditionally, I don't know, men or just Robbie doesn't give a shit about anything. But actually, this is me. For some reason, Robbie cares a lot about pretty wrapping. I just feel like...
And yours is a close second.
If you can't see the present, you did your
Can
job.
you zoom in on my fine, perfect edges, though? Like, seriously, like, jump in on that shit.
I don't know if they're as perfect as you thought. Oh my. They look professionally wrapped. Which is so not your personality. I just want to say.
Go to the next one. Keep going.
Oh my god. Wow. Oh my gosh. He's just gonna wake up and see his name all over everything. Oh. You really went for it, you know?
Yeah.
In a turn of events with my reading, Animorphs is not going well.
Is it because it's a hard read?
It's not.
Is it just garbage?
It's not really working for me.
Just garbage book?
And it is surprisingly good. Like, I knew I liked it, and I know I love Stephen King, but I expected to have a lot of problems with this, seeing as when it was written and when I'm reading it. And there's definitely, like, things that you would deem problematic in here. There's a lot of slurs and derogatory comments, and I know that the ending is a problem. Anyway, I'm still very engaged with it, and I think
When are you getting married?
his writing is very interesting. It's very hard to vlog around other humans, so let's go to my parents.
Let's go.
You know what I think would be interesting? To try to find all of the VHS tapes that I know they have somewhere of, like, shit I would have recorded, or like of my plays.
My parents too. They would have a whole bunch too.
Would they? These were my Sweet Legs picks of the day, in case you were so curious. Here's my mommy's bookshelf. Look at all the unicorns. So Christmas was great. I'm gonna spend the next 10 years cleaning my house now. Here's my favorite things I got. A little book and a little notepad from Liam. And Liam got, what's that thing called?
Nintendo Labo.
A Nintendo Labo to go with his Switch. So there's these, they're like cardboard
Yeah, they are cardboard.
things that
And
he
you fold
built.
them.
And then you like
Fishing rod.
attaches to his Switch somehow. And then he like play these games. with this.
Motorbike.
I also got these wireless headphones. Shout out to my husband. And new avocado socks. And is there any bookworm out there that didn't get an on-brand mug? Like this video if you got a bookish mug for Christmas. Tomorrow I think we're going back to the ski hill, and then while we're there I'll finish the Everest series. Animorphs. Oh my. This was an interesting experience. I have since learned that this is like the 32nd Animorphs book. Does it say it on here? Oh my god, it's right there. But it's also the like 7th book from this character Rachel. So if you read and know this book series so well, you know all about Rachel. As far as like problematic 90s stuff, like, yeah, no daddy, duh, that's not what I meant. It's just that he's foreign. An alien? I almost choked Bobo Bear. I lowered my voice to a whisper. How did you know? Well, honey, it's not that big a deal. I mean, my cleaning lady's an alien and she does a great job. Basically in this book she has morphed into the starfish and then splits into the nice Rachel and the mean Rachel. And I kind of thought there would be some type of commentary on how, like, you know, there needs to be a balance in your personality and like you can't just be all of one thing, but not so much. It was a lot of action. There were some interesting things happening. There was a boy who told the two Rachels to make out with each other. The most interesting things that I found in my parents, though, when scouring that bookshelf, I remembered that at this age I was collecting these masks. I guess the women in my family have always collected some type of porcelain item. My grandma was really into angels. My mom collected unicorns, unicorn everything. And I collected these masks that I forgot all about. Before the masks, I collected clowns. I have this memory while I was there. I was like, oh yeah, those weird little clowns. I used to collect those. And then I switched to masks. And my dad like nailed them into my wall. So it was like this real weird decor thing on my purple wall. The most interesting thing is this box of VHS tapes. My husband is currently going and picking up a VCR from his parents because my hope is to see what's on these and also figure out which ones I want to like digitally copy to have forever, because there are some childhood things here. I think my parents' wedding video is in here. I also think my grandparents' 50th anniversary video is in here, and something that I really hope is in here but I'm kind of worried it isn't. And then this whole conversation isn't relevant, but at this age I started acting in plays. So in 6th grade, I think it was Cinderella. I remember my part, but I don't have any photos, and I kind of think I might not have any video. In case I don't, I'll just tell you about it. I played a baker. My best friend got a way cooler part than me and I was really jealous, and I just got a part of like the chorus. I remember the 7th grade play real well that I'll get to tell you about in another video. But 6th grade, I know I played a baker. There was like groups of 8 people, but there was like 4 groups of people. You could be a baker, you could be, I don't even know, like a cleaning person. I know we like stood on the edges of the stage and then all the activity was happening in the middle. I'm pretty sure my best friend got a part as a mouse, which actually had lines. So we're very happy for her. In 7th grade, I got more of a part. So go me. It is quite a few hours later. I'm making dinner. Robbie should be home soon. Apparently he's been trying to get a VCR to work for a while. I am at like 850 pages. I'm pretty like just tired of reading this book. Did it need to be 1200 pages? I don't know. Honestly, I guess I forgot how much it switches between the 2 different timelines. We're following a group of the losers, and you've probably seen the movie or at least the trailer or read the book. Good for you. So it's them as kids and then them as adults. There are certain reasons I wouldn't recommend it, but it's still like the actual plot and story. I was gonna say pace, but I don't know if the pace is my favorite. It's still one of his best books, just with the actual like suspense and horror stuff. I wouldn't say it's scaring me, but of all the horror that I've read, like, it does genuinely like creep me out, which is a cool, an enjoyable experience because not many things in life do that for me. It was the 80s. Short shorts were the thing. All the girls are wearing jeans and the men are wearing short shorts.
And the wife beater.
Oh my god.
He looks like he was in a rock band.
Update, I'm at 900 pages of it, and the only video I have of myself is from 3rd grade. So I actually think I'm gonna make that the next childhood favorites that I do instead of going to 7th grade, because I'm not ready to deal with my 7th grade self. But let's see my 3rd grade self, which is probably equally mortifying. So this is the first time I had ever seen a video camera. So please excuse my obnoxiousness, and I'll include more in my 3rd grade reading video. Oh, look at them cutting their cake. This is their 50th anniversary. That's so cute. Oh my god. Stop. My earrings are beads. Good morning. Today is my last day of this challenge. I'm getting sick, which always happens halfway through my end of year videos, which sucks because then half of them I just have no voice in. But I've actually, it sounds like I just woke up, looks like I just woke up. I've actually been awake for quite a few hours working. I'm working from home today, a couple hours in the morning, and then we're going up to the ski hill again. I'm gonna get a little bit of reading done, and then we'll come home and I'll work some more, and I might be able to film my wrap up today because I did finish it last night. I stayed up way too late. Honestly, my best Christmas present was that one I got myself. It's a new Tarte concealer. I've been using a mix of 2 colors, and I finally got like my proper color, which is fair light neutral. Speaking about makeup, 6th grade is the year that I started wearing makeup. I was gonna say allowed. I don't think there was ever really an age that my mom said that like I was allowed to wear makeup. It just wasn't really, from what I recall, a thing. This is just maybe when I got interested in it. I know that I wore makeup occasionally for like performance things, but this year I started wearing, it would have been lip gloss, and I think I had mascara, and those were the 2 things that I was like, I guess allowed to wear. Today we're gonna take it easy. Besides concealer and powder, it's just gonna be lip gloss and mascara. As for my thoughts on it, oh man, I mean, his writing is always better than I remember, so I do still really like it, but obviously there are certain things that I think we can all collectively agree should not have been in this book, like the 11-year-olds at the end all having sex with Beverly. That's a weird scene that I would have rather not read. There's actually quite a few like sexually explicit scenes between like a bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds throughout this book, and just references to genitals and sex, like, and Beverly's breasts are like their own character, so that's uncool. But the actual like Pennywise scary stuff I think still kind of holds up. And obviously like the racial stereotypes and derogatory stuff isn't supposed to be from characters that you take as like inspiration. Like they're supposed to be shitty. And I guess there's this commentary on humanity and like all of this horror stuff is happening, but really all the horrors of real life are also explored, you know? I feel like I could write an essay on this. Anyway, let's go snowboarding. Okay, gonna read the second book for Everest. The Climb.
So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
All right, the reading is over. I am sick. I feel terrible. Why are my clothes always inside out? Definitely wish I looked and sounded cuter for the outro of this video. I read everything that I wanted to, that I told you I was gonna read. I didn't tell you why I was originally vlogging with my mom's bookshelf. I was looking for a specific other Stephen King because I wanted to read a short story, but like, forget that whole thing. I already told you about Replica. I'm not reading these. I guess I still recommend, but since I didn't finish the series, like I can't do that. Animorphs, yikes. Don't read it as an adult. Not that anyone would. Do I recommend this to your kid? Probably not. I know I say like a lot, but the girl in here, it just sounded like an adult trying to sound like a teenager. I just feel like they were trying to make her sound like an idiot. I didn't appreciate the stereotypes, but I don't know. If your kids are loving this nowadays, or you're a kid and you're watching this, which don't if you're a kid, because COPPA, I'll get sued. COPPA is that thing where like they're demonetizing any channel that is geared towards children.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like the government can fine you now, like fine you directly if you deem that your video is not child friendly and they think it is. Like you can get a fine. First of all, proud of myself for reading this.
It's a big ass book.
In like a week and a half. Do I recommend it? I don't know. I'm too sick to think right now. It was a ride. What? Everest was such a pleasant surprise. With rereading any of my childhood favorites for any of these videos, like it's always risky that it won't be what I remember. And yeah, if we're comparing this to any like adult novel about climbing Everest, obviously those are far superior, smarter, more well written, more thorough, all the things. But this is something I will 100% encourage Liam to check out. I'm sure there were some things that I didn't enjoy, but I can't really remember them. This was one of my vlogs that was much more vlogging than reading, and we're at like an hour, so I kind of just want to wrap it up. I'm really stoked that things in here surprised me, things that I had forgotten, things that were unexpected about the summit. Is that the summit? Yeah, and the climb, and I liked it. The characters weren't like the most fleshed out people. What do you really expect from a scholastic book series? You know what I mean? That's it. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you're enjoying my 12 days of BooksandLala. And tomorrow, I think we're talking about my least favorite books. So, see you then. The writing. It was rough. I don't think it was very like well thought out. Didn't make a lot of sense.